Hey, what's up, everyone? This is Paul Tamayo for Kotaku.com, and today I'm joined by editor-at-large Riley McLeod. Thank you for joining me.
Yay!
we got this thing working. So yesterday, Season 4 of Apex Legends dropped, and with that came a bunch of new changes, and specifically a new character who we want to talk about. But before we get into that, I kind of want to talk about a couple of highlights from the update that I kind of really appreciate. One of them being, first of all, new Sentinel sniper rifle, which I probably will never use because I don't snipe.
Same.
I'm really bad at sniping. But the one thing I do love is that sniper rifles now have their own dedicated ammo with like that bright blue ammo that's easy to sort of point out and tell people who are sniping on my team, like, hey, pick that up. The new Planet Harvester is where the fuel depot used to be on the new map, which I've like grown to love more and more as I play it. I think it has a nice amount of variety, and it continues to blow my mind in ways I wasn't prepared for. But the other thing I really, really appreciate is Landmark Capital City, which now has lava running through it. It has it's sort of experienced an earthquake or something, and it's like, It's really cool.
I like that the lava, according to the patch notes, it won't kill you. It'll damage you a little and float you back out. And I've really been tempted to want to jump in and see what happens, but then I'm always like, oh, my team will get mad.
Yeah.
So I spent a lot of time standing at the edge, being like, I'm gonna jump in.
One day.
Jump in. It's cool that it doesn't kill you right away. I've definitely played other games like that where like you'll die if you fall, and given Apex's mobility, it seems like it would be so easy to fall, and being punished for that would feel weird, given that there's no like fall damage and stuff like that. So I think that's a good choice.
This game does a really good job of sort of getting a lot of those what would be speed bumps, like you said, falling into lava, or even just mobility, fall damage, like removing those things, like removing all the fat and just keeping whatever works and keeping it really refined and fun and mobile. And it works really well, I think. And with the addition of Revenant, who we're here to talk about, I actually am growing to really like Revenant, but I also can see how he can become extremely annoying in the future, in future matches, especially when I'm like not playing as Revenant, and I can see another team that has a Revenant player, especially like one that's really good with Revenant. But I will say, just real quick to run down his abilities. His passive, he can crouch walk faster, and he can climb up higher walls, which is kind of interesting. I've used that once or twice to like get to like the third floor as opposed to the second floor of a building, which is pretty sweet actually, or the roof. His tactical, he throws a device that deals damage and disables enemy abilities for 10 seconds, which I couldn't understand in the practice range, in the firing range at first. We were talking about it, like, I was like, what? How does this work? I didn't understand it.
I kept hitting myself with it and being so confused, and I was like, is one of the dummies shooting me? What's happening here? It took me an embarrassingly long time to realize that I was doing it to myself.
And then your UI has these like chains on it that is like, what does that mean? I don't know what that means. But essentially what that means is when you throw it towards enemy players, it's kind of like Sombra in Overwatch. She has this ability where she just kind of cancels, her EMP blast cancels out enemy abilities, which is actually really, really clutch sometimes when you just want to turn things into a firefight for, I think it's 10 seconds. It's a very limited amount of time. So you as the opposing player can choose to engage, like double down and like, use your guns to do the speaking, or you can just run. And like, that's kind of what I do half the time. Is like, I'm getting out of here. I can't use my shield or whatever. And then his ultimate, of course, is the death totem, which I had some help from Twitter users who were like, hey, this is how it works. I was like, so shout out to y'all out there. Appreciate it. So essentially when you drop that, you have to actually walk up to it and interact with it, so then you can protect you and your team from one death. So you, instead of getting killed or downed, you'll return to the totem with 1 health point, which is like not a lot, but it can bail you out in a way that's like really interesting, and it makes me think about where I'm putting that totem more, and how I can be more efficient with that, because like when you come back, you have to like immediately start healing yourself or recharging your shields. And even if you're not able to do that, it is nice to just sort of wait out the fire or the fight, and then just like hope the team loses you, and then maybe pick up some teammates or grab their banners or whatever. So it's a nice touch that I think, again, this game does a really good job of sort of eliminating that fat that might turn off newcomers or people who don't like battle royales, because it's like, oh, it gives you like a respawn basically. It's kind of a nice handout to them to like help them get into the game. But what'd you think of the ultimate?
Yeah, I haven't really had the chance to use it in any matches, unfortunately. But I played around with it a little bit. It is a cool idea. I think that you're right that Apex sort of trims things down. I think the flip side of that can sometimes be like, I feel like I need to be a little bit better. I was just playing Fortnite before this, and switching between them is so confusing.
It is. That's tough.
I think anytime I go from playing Apex to a game with fall damage, I immediately take fall damage, and I'm like, right. But it's neat. Yeah, I'd like to try to use it in a match. I haven't been able to use it, and no one on my team has survived long enough to use it either.
Yeah. I think my favorite like little touch that has nothing to do really with the gameplay, but more of like a, I don't know, beneath the surface thing for me is how he interacts with other characters.
Thank you. Recharging. I didn't do it for you.
His throwaway lines and stuff, like when you thank people, when you try to thank people, he'll say something like, don't think I owe you anything, or like he just says really rude, edgy things to the other players.
Reaper-y.
Yeah, no, I kind of like that. It adds a nice little layer of character to those interactions, where like, especially with someone like Pathfinder, who's like the opposite of him, who's this really cheery, like, you're welcome, buddy, and then he's just like, don't think I owe you anything or whatever. Just like really funny interactions back and forth that just add a little bit of color to what could become a pretty tedious, I don't know, really edgy, dark thing. And this map continues to remind me how colorful and vibrant and just full of personality this game is, and it's half of the reason why I keep coming back to it.
I think with Battle Royales, it's so hard or multiplayer games in general, I always struggle a little bit to get into the character backstory. It always feels there's these great things happening in the world building in Apex or like in Overwatch, and it doesn't always play out in the game, and so I often sort of struggle to like square what I know of the characters outside with what actually matters to me in the game, which is just using their powers.
Yeah, I'm hoping that, it's wild that this game has gotten this far, and I'm still playing this game. Anytime they release an update, I'm like, okay, time to get back into it for, at least a couple of weeks or whatever.
It's just a year old now, right?
Yeah. So yeah, I'm pretty happy so far with what I've played. I definitely want to play more and sort of flesh those impressions out a little bit more, but yeah, that's pretty much it. If y'all want to go check out Riley's post on the site, it's already there. It lays out all the what's new in season 4. And yeah, thanks for tuning in, everybody. We appreciate it, and we'll see you around. Peace.